Huk Yuunsk Dewayu, Gitwitwada, Diptegu, Simshianu, Ada Sku Gita Ganitsu, Juno, Ligiakwan, Ani, Diwalwetgu, Ada Tegu, Lakskik, Tiwantku, Cora Lang Booth, Wana D. Mtsitsu, Lakskip Diptecht, Roger Lang, Wana D. Nagwadu, Ada Norma Lang Wallace, Wadi Noyu, Emily Lang, Wadi Silagweya, Ada Gunnar Lang, Wadi Skuskamuyu. Really happy to be here with you all today. I want to thank you for letting me lead this lesson. I'm a student just like y'all, so if anybody has any thing that they want to chime in and let known during the lesson that's relevant, please know this is an open time and open space to do so. If you have any questions about anything, just let me know. If it's a question that would be better answered in long form later, I'm always available for email. If I don't know the answer, you know, we will go get with, we'll kick it up the ladder until we figure it out together. I want to encourage everyone to know there's no wrong answers or pronunciations. We're learning and moving together. So please, though I encourage everybody to follow along and speak in turn, would be great for all of us to be able to hear it. But if anybody's shy, anybody doesn't want to, of course, feel free to practice along with your mic off if you're more comfortable. You know, it's as long as it helps you, then that's what we're here to do. I'd like to share screen now. Oops, which I did wrong. I need to go back. Share screen, photo. All right, so we've gone over some time words before, but we've expanded this document a little bit with some great example sentences and some stuff to talk about as we go. Within these, there's some great vocabulary too that I learned myself as I was putting this together. It's great to see the language unfold as you start to learn. The reason I chose to do time words today is a lot of you at this point that have been coming pretty regularly to this beginner group are getting past the point of simple vocabulary and being able to express yourself, and the need and the want to be able to express yourself and place that properly is important. And our time words really do come into play a lot in those expressions. And sometimes there's more to it than just the time, but actual commitment and feeling behind it. So happy to be sharing these with you today. Our first word, Yagwa. If you are part of our Facebook group, you know the long form title of our group is Yagwa Dipsualausa Sm'algya, meaning we are learning Sm'algya right now. We are doing it currently. The way it would break down is right now, we Sualauska learning Sm'algya, the true language. So the way that would break down is Yagwa Dipsualauska Sm'algya. And our example sentence here is Yagwa Hadzixadus. The cat is swimming, which is, I don't know, probably a sign of distress, but so let's go ahead and run through this. I'm going to go ahead and do the example, I have Alfie follow me, and if you'd like to say that out loud, go ahead and sort of fall in line. Try to keep an idea of who's in front of you so we can keep it moving in a pretty orderly pace. And I'll go ahead and start. Sladam Sitatman. Yagwa. Yagwa Hadziksa Dus. Shigo.
Yagwa Hidiksa Dus.
Yagwa Hadiksa Dus.
Yagwa Hadiksa Dus.
Yagwa Hedixa Dus.
Yagwa Hedixa Dus.
Yagwa Haditska Dusk.
Yeah, everybody sounds great. All right. The sentence I used right before we got started here was this one right here. Sladam Sitatman. We are about to start. Sladam is about to. It's got that barred L at the beginning where we want to push the tip of our tongue to the roof of our mouth, let the air come out the sides for that. And Sladam Sitatman. Go.
Sladam Sitatman.
Sladam Sitatman.
Sladam Sitatman.
Sladam Sitatman.
Sladam Sitatman.
Sladam Sitatman.
Sladam Sitatman. Shadam Sagatwin.
Sladam Sitatman.
Yeah. All right. Next we have Dim. Dimwalu. Dimwalu says, I'll do that. Dim is a great one in that it's a commitment that it's going to happen. Like this example sentence of Dimwalu is, I'll do that. I'm on it. And so it's one of those good words that I was talking about earlier, where it not only marks a place in time, but a commitment to action as well. So Dimwalu.
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 Ukalam. Little side note, I saw this used in a really cool way the other day in a DAO Dr. Michael D'Angeli was working on with our language cohort group that meets a couple of times a week for the students in the SHI language program. And in the DAO, where it was a porcupine and the beaver, they were trying to talk each other into doing things. And one of the ways when one showed worry, the other one would say, "Oh, dimam, like it'll be good, in a way of saying like, "Oh, it'll be good, don't worry." And I just thought that was a really cool, dim am was a really cool, interesting little phrase. So our next word is na. In our introductions, you'll hear na as past, in a past tense of, we'll use it as I say, my know you is wadi know you, is my mother. When I say Norma Lang Wallace, wadi know you. My father passed away when I was a kid, so for him I would say wanadi negwadu, and that na is an indication that he has passed. And here we've got na siksas. This is an interesting one. Na siksaskanu. Sisaskanu is a great word. Na sisaskanu. I laughed. It doesn't mean I didn't laugh like akadi sisaskanu, but I laughed in the past. Should we go?
Na sisaskanu.
Na success is new.
Na sisaskanu.
Na sisaskanu.
Na sisaskanu.
Na sa ash sabu. Na sisaskanu.
Oh, him.
Na sisaskanu.
All right. Our next one, nahla. It's another past, but it means just happened. Just now. I just ate fish. Nahla gabu hon. Nahla gabu hon. Nahla. Nahla gabu hon. Here we go.
Nasa gabuhon.
Nasla gabuhon.
Nasha gabuhon.
Nasa gabuhon.
Nathu gabu hon.
Na sa gabahon.
Nasla gabuhon.
Oh, am subsum. All right. So get one. So get one's also important because we're talking about today, and that comes up quite a bit when we talk about the weather today. How are you doing today? What day is it? All of these questions come around Sagyetwin. And our example sentence, Sagyetwin, is Sagagyemka Sagyetwin. It is sunny today, which it currently is in Zunu. Sagagyemka Sagyetwin. Should go.
Sagyetwin. Shagagyamga Sagyetwin.
Sagetwin. Sagagyema Sagetwin.
Sagetwin. Sagagemga Sagetwin.
Sagyetwin. Sagagyamga
Sagyetwin.
Sagyetwin. Sagayamga Sagyetwin.
Sagayamga Sagetwin.
The next one I really like, And we are starting to use it in Shugaina's class, if you're in that one with us. But, it's a good one. I really like the example sentence as well. Zihla, zihla, zihla. It has that barred L, starts with a DZ, zihla. Dim tochkum, zihla, gwanksa, winea. Zihla, dim tochkum, zihla, gwanksa, winea. And this is one of our more complicated example sentences. We've got tochkum, zithla, gwanksa, winea. And those two words, tochkum and gwanksa. Tochkum is we are eating, like we are eating, because it has the connector on the end that lets you know that that's us with the M. And then gwanksa. I am familiar with gwantka, and it makes me want to say that all the time because gwantka is touch. Gwantka, gwantka. It's an example word that gets used quite a bunch. And so it's tricky for me to not say gwantka instead of gwanska, gwanksa, which means done and cooked and specific to food. It means the food is cooked. And it's always going to be used in relation to winea. So, zithla, dim tochkum, zithla, gwanksa, winea. So go.
Zishla, dim trochtum, zishla gwanksa, winea.
Zisla, dim trochtum, zisla, gwanksa, winea.
Zilla. Dim trochkum zilla gwanksa winea.
Zithla, dim trochkum, zithla, gwanska, winea.
Ditsla, dim toxum, jitla, gwanska, winea.
Ditla, dim toxin, ditla, gwanksa, winea. I just had a question. Does winea, does that mean food? So winea is food?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So food, and then we've got when the food is done here, like I was saying, gwanksa is cooked and done cooking, and winea is food. So yeah, we will eat when the food is cooked, when the food is done cooking. So yes, good catch on winea. And those two words always go together. The gwanksa is always going to be a description of winea because it's done being cooked.
Okay, that's helpful. It's like they're buddies, they're friends. They go together.
Yeah, great question. I just learned that today myself as I was going through these and making sure I understood all the vocabulary involved. So yeah, good eye.
Awesome. Thank you for all of your hard work. Enjoy it.
Oh, I am. All right. Our next word, zigadeep. Tomorrow. This one's just fun. Zigadeep. Zigadeep dimyeltku. You might be familiar with yeltku as a, if you are, again, in Donome's class, she uses twayeltkin a lot. Turn around, and yeltkin, yeltku is coming back, returning. You'll hear it used for round in other ways too. But so that's our example sentence. Zigadeep dim yeltku. I'm coming back tomorrow. Zigadeep. Zigadeep dim yeltku. Go.
Zigadeep. Zigadeep dim yeltku.
Zigadeep. Zigadeep dim yeltku.
Zigadeep. Zigadeep dim yeltku.
Zigadeep. Zigadeep dim yeltku.
Jigajib, Jigajib, Demyotku.
Dig a deep, dim yeltku.
Jigajib, Demyotku.
Oh, everybody sounds so good. Lukul Simshians. All right. Our next word is, you can see, is sounds close or shares some of the same with the TS apostrophe IIP. And this one's, except it's Gitsipta, and that means yesterday. And using Yeltku again, instead of dim is something that's going to happen in the future. We'll change that since it's already happened. And we go to Gitsipta will Yeltku. Gitsipta will Yeltku.
Gitsipta will Yeltku.
Gitsipta will Yeltku.
Gitsipta will Yeltku.
Gitsipta will Yeltku.
Gitsita will Yeltku.
Ita will Yeltku.
Gitsipta will Yeltku.
All right. Lukul All right. So next, sa. When we were talking about today earlier in Sagyatwin, sa is the day part of today. So our example sentence is ludaba sa. Ludaba meaning all, like, all encompassing and all day long. And that one's a really good one to know too. I really like the flow of it and just what it is, because you can apply it to things like you can say, Sm'algya gan decoy ludabasa. Speak Sm'algya to me all day long. It's a good one. So sa. Ludabasa.
Can I ask a question about sa?
Sure. Yes.
I often wonder this about Sm'algya words and phrases that I'm learning, if they were traditional or if they've been adapted because to be a translation of an English phrase. So, I often write my emails to people. I say, amasa for good day, or, amakantlak, or amahupal if it's the evening. But do you know if that's something that we adapted to those English phrases, or if those are phrases that would have been said as greetings traditionally?
That's a good question. I hear it as a little more in reading and the examples that I see it more of like an observation, like it's a greeting, but it would be like a amasagya one, like, yeah, it's a good day today, isn't it? As a start of a conversation. I think, and this is just me off the Wingash off the top of the head, I would think that the sort of abbreviated way that we use it in casual conversation might be a little more adapting that, shortening the observation to a greeting, to a good day, instead of it's a good day today, isn't it? If that makes sense. Alfie, you might have a little more on this.
Oh, I think you're on the right track, and I think you're right, Pamela. It's an adaptation. Probably our ancestors didn't go around saying good morning to each other. A lot of the things in our language were very practical, and so we definitely have adapted to a lot of the kind of niceties of Western culture. So I wasn't there, but I think probably people didn't go around saying good day or good afternoon, but I think Huk Yuunsk is on the right track. We used it to talk about, it is a good day or the weather is good. So that's my guess. Nancy might be able to weigh in on that too.
My father, my Tsimshian dad, who was more a grandfather's age to me, was infamous for never saying goodbye on the telephone. He'd just hang up, and he was the kindest person in the world and very courteous. But it seemed rude from a Western perspective. Made me have a hunch that these niceties weren't kind of traditional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, one of the first things something I was taught years ago is whenever we're learning a new language, the first things you want to learn are things like please, thank you, where's the bathroom? And so one of the first questions I tried to ask in this group was, how do you say please? Because we had thank you. We say toyaxit or toyaxit noon or toyaxit nusum all the time. So I was wondering, how do you say please? And so I asked the question and I found out there really isn't a translation for it because it doesn't really match the culture. There's a word that you can kind of make fit, but it's a lot more like you're begging and pleading someone to do something for you than truly how we use the word please in English.
All right. So our next word, getting back on to our vocabulary, is gunflak. Gunflak. That's our morning. And it's got an underlined G and an underlined A, going into an N, going into a barred L. 2 A's and a K. So there's actually a whole lot going on in 7 letters there. We've got 3 unique characters and unique sound, or 4 unique sounds, I think, all together. So we've got gunflak, but thankfully it rolls off the tongue a little easier than I'm just made it sound. But we want to make sure and put that G in the back of our throat for the gunflak. I'm a gunflak, Datanis Newsom. I'm a gunflak, good morning. Datanis Newsom is to you all, to everyone, to all of the people. And all together, we've got gunflak. I'm a gunflak, Datanis Newsom. Should we go?
Gunflak. Emma gunflak, Datanis Newsom.
Gunflak. I'm a 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 gunflak, Datanis Newsom.
I'm a gunflak, Datanis Newsom.
I'm a gunflak. I'm a gunflak, Datanis Newsom.
Gunflak. I'm a gunflak, Datanis Newsom.
Our next word, Sm'algya. Early morning. I don't like Sm'algya. Sm'algya. Sm'algya dim will sigyoidicum. That word is an interesting word as well, sigyoidicum. Am I pronouncing that right? Should go.
Oh, I think so.
Sm'algya dim will sigyoidicum. And that says we will leave early in the morning. Sm'algya dim will sigyoidicum. Go.
Sm'algya dim will sigyoidicum.
Sm'algya will sigyoidicum.
Sm'algya dim will sigyoidicum.
Sm'algya. Sm'algya dim will sigyoidicum.
Our next, we have Gaudi Sulgeks, which is afternoon. I want to point out that Sulgeks is our word for noon. That's not in here by itself. It doesn't have an example sentence by itself, but we could actually use our example sentence for the last one, Tlagaudi Sulgek Nim Will Dalkin. I will meet you at noon. And Gaudi Sulgeks is afternoon, like right after, or our word for afternoon. And that goes in between Sulgeks and Hupel for evening. So Gaudi Sulgeks. La Gaudi Sulgeks de Willa Gunson Clam. Gunson Nausm. Gunson Nausm. La Gaudi Sulgeks de Willa Gunson Nausm. Gaudi Sulgeks. La Gaudi Sulgeks de Willa Gunson Dal. Gus. See, I'm getting tongue-tied on this. La Gaudi Sulgeks de Willa Gusanalfum. Go.
Oh, well, so we might be familiar with that Sunash from when you're tired and you say Sunash, and that's that same root word.
Gusanalfum.
Gaudi Sulgeks. La Gaudi Sulgeks de Willa 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 Gungasu. Get count that last word?
Gusanalfum.
Gusanalfum.
Yeah.
Gaudi Sulgeks. La Gaudi Sulgeks de Willa Gusanalfum.
La Gaudi Sulgeks de Willa Gusanalfum.
Gaudi Suliaks. La Gaudi Suliaks Duala Galsunal Natlum.
Local everybody sounds real good. All right. Our next one, we have Hupel. And that's one of our more straightforward sounding words. Just the H-U-P apostrophe L. So Hupel. You want to be sure and get that stop in there just a little bit. And our example sentence, Chama Hupel, we've got the X in front, which emphasizes a little extra than like when we have Ama Gaudi Sulgeks or Ama Gantlak. That X in there is just a little more emphasis that you really want to make sure somebody has a good evening. So, Hupel, Chama Hupel.
Hupel, Chama Hupel.
Hupel, Chama Hupel.
Hupel, Chama Hupel.
Just a funny little story. When my son Elijah was learning to say Emma Hupel, he'd say Emma Hoo Hoo. Hupel. Sama
Hupel. Chama Hupel.
Hupel, Chama Hupel.
Hupel, Chama Hupel.
Hupel. Chama Hupel.
Atk. Atk is our word for night. We've got two A's, putting that long, or that like the wah type sound, that the two A's together, pulling out that A. Atk. Akastogi tax. Atk is our example sentence. And there we've got, I did not sleep through the night. And a lot of us are used to seeing akeri all the way out as a negative, and that can be done a couple of different ways. For folks who this may trip a little bit of people up because it's not spelled with a barred L, and then we usually have the DI after that, with akeri is something that you're used to seeing quite a bit in the BC orthography written materials. Here is a version where the aka is just AKA, and then it goes into that XS. I think that's a part of why that's shortened the way it is the way it leads into that next word, but it means our negative. Stoch, we know, or is, I shouldn't say we know, but stoch is a word that you'll hear, a root word that you'll hear a lot for sleeping. If I remember right, stogum hakoya is like sleep clothes, pajamas, and things like that. Yeah, stoch is our sleep, and in the rest of that sentence, tach atk, that TXAS is the same as we do for tanis nusum. It's another real common word by itself. I'm not used to seeing it just TXAS like that, or I haven't seen it as much like that, I should say. So that one took me a minute to realize that that's that same root word that's in a lot of our words like tanis nusum and things like that, or a lot of our phrases like tanis nusum. So we have atk, aka, stogi, tax, act. Act, aka, stogi, tax, act. Go.
Atk, aka, stogi, atras, atk.
Atk, aka, stogi, atk, atk.
Atk, aka, stogi, atras, atk.
Atk, aka, stogi, atras, atk.
All right, our last one on here, on this page, we have Sm'algya act. And like we said earlier, Sm'algya is our word for noon. So that base word, Sm'algya, that's gonna put us in the middle of the night. Sm'algya act. And our example sentence, Lagaudi Sm'algya act nim will dalken. I will meet you after midnight. Sounds like either a spy or a romantic. Sounds nefarious no matter what. I like it. Sm'algya act. Lagaudi Sm'algya act nim will dalken. Sm'algya act. Lagaudi Sm'algya act nim will dalken. To go.
Sm'algya act. Lagaudi Sm'algya act, dim will daltkin.
Sm'algya act. Lagaudi Sm'algya act will daltkin.
Sm'algya act, lagaudi Sm'algya act, nim will daltkin.
Sm'algya act, lagaudi Sm'algya act, nim will daltkin.
Sm'algya act. From Gaudi through Sm'algya act and Dalskin.
Ruko and